All right, I guess we are live. Thanks everyone for coming back, and hello the newcomers, and hello also everybody who is back for the day two of Hard Surface Bootcamp. My name is Maria JD. I'm the community lead at Art Heroes 3D Art Academy, and I'm here with Max Puliero, right with us from Tokyo, Japan. And yes, hi Max.
Hi, how are
Okay,
you guys?
connection test. Yes, everybody's here. Guys, say hi, whoever is alive in the chat. Well, I mean, I see actually a lot of people alive even before we started, which is absolutely great. Um, and I actually, like before we get started and before I just like run quick intro. Yes, hi, awesome, awesome, awesome. Can we have a little bit of a show of hands? Who has attempted a little bit of modeling? Oh yeah, oh my God, this chat. Yes, love you guys. Yes, who's attempted a little bit of modeling? Like just to practice, just really really want to see, because there's been like quite a few things popping up on Discord and a few things on Instagram. I probably haven't seen everyone, so yeah, just um give us a little bit of show of hands. We'll probably try to. Okay, okay. And who is still working also, like even if you have not posted, just let us know if you've been trying. Appreciate you all trying. This is like super 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 important. Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, so this is awesome, guys and girls, absolutely awesome. um Day two today is absolutely following the next steps, right, Max? Like the same,
Yes.
we're pretty much picking up where we left it at yesterday, and we're gonna look a little bit more into mechanics. Yeah, Max, correct?
Mechanics and
Yeah.
yes, and detailing. Start with the detailing also a little bit.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. So that's the plan for today. And also, looking ahead, there's going to be, even like next steps for tomorrow. So we're not going to finish today. And there's going to be a replay of today's session. It's also going to be tomorrow's session live. I mean, it would be absolutely awesome to have everybody live, because you guys can ask questions. And for those of you who are absolutely new to our events or to the bootcamp specifically, make sure that you do ask questions. I'll keep some of them for later. If we have time during the stream, I'll ask your questions to Max right away. And yeah, so just make sure that your questions are here, because that's actually the whole point of this session live, because we want to keep it as interactive as possible. Max, we also have actually a bunch of questions from people on Instagram also, guys.
Hmm.
Welcome to tag us on your art. We'll be delighted to share, like, just so that we could show to the rest of the community what everybody's working on. I mean, like, yes, why not? Like, use the opportunity. So yeah, so we have a bunch of questions from the rest of the community, and I'll probably also gonna throw in some of them, just in the middle
Okay.
somewhere. Max, are you fluent in Japanese? Let's. There
Yeah,
is already the first question.
yeah, I do speak Japanese, survival Japanese, because people here don't really speak English and do not speak Italian for sure. So I had to
Okay.
adapt.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We got it. We got it. Okay. Alberto is saying he's happy to be here. I'm also happy to be here, and I'm happy to have you, Alberto, and the rest of you guys. So yeah. Alrighty. So let me then. We've made space and time, like about 5 minutes for everybody to join. I mean, we still have people joining, but I'm not gonna take more of this space because we're tight on time. We've got a lot of ground to cover. So, Max, shall I just share your screen?
Oh yes, please.
Yeah. All right. Let's check it out and see where we left it yesterday. Whoa. I'm not sure if I missed something or it has improved.
Yeah, that's the thing. 1 hour making and talking and figure out what I was doing.
This is pretty awesome.
It's yeah, it's a very short amount of time. So using the same procedures, I mean the same technique I used during the live, I added just a little bit more of details. Specifically, I created uh, all over I adjusted the fit first of all. Now way cooler, and also I made this kind of double shape on the legs, on the arms, on the chest. I created a little bit of negative space here, just make it a little bit cooler. I added a bunch of cylinders here and there just to give more like coolness to the and strength to the overall design. I didn't touch the hands since hands is going to take forever, so I don't even think I can spend any more time on it. Otherwise, it's going to take really really long time. So, but yeah, I improved it a little bit, and I saw a lot of people on Discord that made a bunch of super cool stuff with different styles, and it's super. It's very overwhelming, to be honest. I didn't expect it so much feedback, and I also like the thing that everybody is doing his own thing, so it's not exactly following what I'm doing here. So it's like experimenting a bit and trying to find their own style. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So so let's get started. Is it okay?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Let's get going.
Okay. So yes, today is going to be like joints, and after that try to start with the detailing. I prefer to solve the joint problem before going too much into details, because actually having something that at least looks functional, it's very important. I'm saying that at least looks functional because in the end we are making something for the screen. Okay, so it doesn't need to be like 100% functional like in real life. So you have to find a balance between you know uh, grounded feeling, grounded mood, and fake it basically. Um, and also we have to while thinking about the joints and how stuff moving, we have to kind of retain the overall shape, or at least retain the mood of the character. So yeah, I usually take a look when I have this kind of character, this kind of humanoid character. I usually take a look at the human body. Okay, so I have my, again, let's see if I have. Now, I hope that Blender won't crash, but let's try. Okay, so, okay, this is basically the human body, the skeleton of the human body, right? So we can take a look how basically it works, and we see that, for example, for the arms, for the legs. I mean, the bones are aligned; they're in a straight line. Okay, so that makes sense because, for example, for the arm, the elbow, it's bending in only one direction. Okay, and the hand, for example, are bending uh, in these. Do you see the pen? I should change the color maybe a little bit.
Do you guys see the pen? I mean, to me, it seems all right.
Okay, let's put like, yeah, yellow, so it's bright. So for the hand is moving in this direction, and it also can uh yeah, like left and right, and up and down. So this direction too, right? It doesn't twist, okay, because actually the twisting happens here, and it's the same for the feet, for example, because the feet can move up and down, more down than up. So it's like this, okay? in the balance, and they also can twist. So they don't do this movement. Okay, they do not do that. I mean, in animation, probably the animators won't be able to do this movement, but in real life, this movement happens like pretty much up here. Okay, so I'm saying this because it's some concept that we can translate in the robot joints. So, for example, even for the arms, until 90 degrees, until they are up here, the movement happens here. But when they go up, actually the movement, the pivot is going to be here. Okay, so from here up, also the clavicle is going to up to like help the arms to bend. And when it goes up all over the way, of course, this thing is going to rotate and point up all over the way. But yeah, okay. So a little bit of a confusing explanation, but I think you got it right. Also, one thing I want to point out is that, as you can see on the pelvis, the thick bone, the connection is like pointing 45 degrees down. Okay, so for the arm is much more like straight. Okay, but for the pelvis, for the ankle, it's a little bit like turned. And in fact, as you can see, I tried to make the same thing in my robot here to make it a much more humanoid. So I don't need this anymore. Bye bye. So now I would say let's focus on this area, which is the most not the most important one, but definitely one of the most important like joint of the robot. So now we have a problem, okay, because this joint right now can move only in this direction. Okay, I don't have anything that support this animation, and I do not anything that support this animation. Okay, which is something that animators often want to be able to control. Okay, if you try to move this way yourself, you see that basically your chest is able to. I mean, your bones won't squeeze, but your muscle, the pectorals are actually contracting and pull the shoulder inside and make the feeling of contraction. So we have also to think about this kind of movement, because animators totally want to have it 100%. So and can be tricky totally. I mean, I always have problem to figure it out when this happen. In fact, most of the time people basically adopt a way to make the chest, the pectorals, like I don't know if you know Crisis the game, which has a lot of fibers and stuff. So basically those fibers can contract, and basically they solve that way. Also, another thing to think about is that in games especially, you cannot, I mean, you can, but most of the time you won't throw in the model too much bones. So most of the time the movement in general of the joints, of the moving parts are is is limited to a couple of bones. Okay, so you don't have a lot of constraints that allow the robot um, to control a very intricate rig. So what I'm trying to say is that the mechanism should be simple as possible. In fact, most of the time the joint are like a spherical joint. So you just basically put a sphere down here, and everything can move because it's a sphere, so they can it can move as a sphere, and there is no problem with that. So I'm today I mean, I don't want to go that way and trying to solve it in a more uh, more appropriate way. So uh, let's address first of all one of the rotation. I hope I will be able to explain uh, I don't know, the best way possible. Okay, because I'm not really good at explaining things, but yeah, I try my best. So the first thing, I assume that you guys knows a little bit of Blender, or at least a little bit of modeling in general. Okay, because in this phase it's going to be very important. So I just added a loop just for the sake to be able to extract like a piece of geo. I just add a little bit of room, okay, and I extrude outside, and yeah, so I don't need this thing anymore. So I created basically those two pieces here, and I can, let's detach. Okay, the cool thing is that since I detach it from this one, the parenting stay together. So, I mean, this is a cool thing about Blender because you keep your constraints, your modifiers, everything. So, and this thing is going to be like, ideally is going to be attached to the rest of the arm, okay? And this room that we have here actually is going to allow us, so let me just clear the parenting for the moment, allow us a little bit of moving since I have a gap here, so I can, have room to do that. Actually, it's a lot of room, so I can scale it down a little bit. Okay. Let me check. So yeah, now it's probably better. And this thing is going to be maybe even less, because after that is going to be controlled in other ways anyway. So and this thing is going to be attached to this one. So as you can see now, I already need to upgrade my design a little bit here, because now I have a big cylinder crashing into the arm, but it's not here. It's not covering enough. I mean, I can keep the design here, but I have to fix a little bit. That's why I want to fix. Before jumping into details, I want to fix all the mechanics. Okay. That's the explanation. Okay, so now you have this guy. That's it. It's rotating like this. Okay, and this thing that you see, okay, Max, but now you have a gap here, and it's able to rotate a bit, but there is nothing inside here. Well, that's the part where you fake it, basically. So there is no way that, I mean, how do you tell what's going on inside here, right? So I mean, it's okay to fake it. It looks okay. So the important thing here is that the stuff doesn't crash inside. Like, obviously, you get the crash inside here, but you don't see it, so it's fine. So at the end of the day, we're doing entertainment. So as long as stuff doesn't crash all together, then and they're looking functional, then it's correct. So I have
Max,
this.
a
Yes.
small request
Yeah.
from folks. Do you mind turning on screencast keys? Because yeah,
Oh, yes,
we
yes,
want to
yes, yes,
see
yes.
we
Sorry
want to see
about
the
that.
screen.
Okay.
No
Yeah,
worries.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Here we go.
Alrighty, guys, you should be fine now. Enjoy.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. um, by the way, if you guys know another, like an external application that does that, not inside Blender, it would be great, because I searched for it on the internet. I didn't find anything that really does the job straight away.
I'll give
So
you a
if you have
link
any idea.
right after the stream. I use
Okay.
one all the time. Yes. I don't
Okay,
remember the
thank you very
name, but I
much.
have it. Yes,
I don't
yes,
even
yes.
mind. Oops, let me close Discord. Let me close. Also the torrent. Yeah, I had to download the new version of Blender, and I tried to download it from the from the website, but was super slow, so I had to use the torrent to get it. So yeah, yeah, because I mean using torrent doesn't look very cool. So so now, yeah, I solved a little bit this problem here. So I solved also this problem here. Now, as I told you, I need something that allows me like to rotate this way and maybe having also this guy coming together. So at least this kind of volume. So this is where the cursor actually helps a lot, because I can move it really, really fast. And I think my shortcut is different from the one by default, but I'm not sure. So I choose the position, I use the cursor as a center. Then to be sure that I'm using the 3D cursor, you can set up from here and you can rotate. And if you don't like it, you can move away and try to find the right spot. Okay. So, so this is a very cool feature. When you find a spot, you can add like an empty just to remember where it was. Of course, you have to adjust maybe the position, but at least you have a locator that reminds you where it was. So in order to do that, so this is basically the child of this one. Now, for the sake of practicity, I would say I detach it from the parents. But yeah, so let me parent this one to let me put this guy down here. Let me change. This thing looks like a lot more technical and way less fun than what we had yesterday. But trust me, it's something that if you're really into this kind of stuff, it's better to know and take a look. Also, let's rotate a little bit, like to follow these axes. So when it's moving, it's not moving in like in this straight line, but is actually following the direction of the muscles. Okay, so this guy should be rotate on the x-axis. So what we can do is basically from the z-axis. Sorry. So what we can do is, I think we can lock one of the axes here. Oh, but yeah, this one works only in local. Yeah, I mean, sorry guys, I'm using the empties, but actually the better way is to use the bones. Okay, but the bones is something that I wanted to introduce during the full course, so that's why I'm using this shortcut. So we have to do stuff a little bit more manually here. So I'm going to parent this guy to this guy here. Okay, and keep the transformation. I'm going to do the same transformation, and now when I rotate, I get this thing, which is I think it's good enough. So what we can make here actually is like we have two solutions. We can put like another cylinder, for example, like here, and having maybe something like this that in some way can open like a cut here and having this guy rotating. But actually, since we have the pectoral that are like already kind of rounded, instead of having an empty that is controlling, we can actually put like a rail, okay, where this guy is actually railing from this position until here, for example. So to do that, and is connecting perfectly with the next topic, okay. So again, I'm super rushing the things because we don't have much time, so I want to cover as much as possible. But in the full course, of course, we're gonna spend way more time to try to figure out what's the best way to do stuff. So forgive me. So the next thing we want to do is like instead of, for example, jumping in scalp mode, and I don't know, start to, for example, adding the what is that? The multi-resolution modifier, which is like the subdivision of ZBrush, and trying to sculpt like a ray like this, define a shape. What I actually prefer to do is using the good old grease pencil. If you guys saw some of my videos on YouTube, you know that I use that all the time from forever ago, because grease pencil is something that in Blender is from really long time ago. So so I create another grease pencil object that I'm gonna put here. Okay, and this one is let's rename it GP, which means grease pencil. I'm gonna call it like chest. Okay, and then I go into draw mode. I think this pie menu, it's a custom pie menu, so you don't have it by default, but I'm not sure. I don't remember, to be honest. And the next thing we want to do is to change the origin from origin, which means I think the origin of the entire world, to surface. Okay. In this way, when you draw something, it's going to snap to the nearest surface the pen found. So, and this is the offset. So let's check the offset first of all. Let me see. Okay, you see that this is basically the offset. Then you have to, I think it's a little bit too much. So let's decrease to 0.9. Okay. And you see that the strokes are white. That's because in my viewport shading, that is something that we have to cover at some point. Okay, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But basically, I have the color to single, which is defined from this color here. So everything in the viewport change and is going to have the same color. So, but if you switch to material, then it's going to read the actual color of the single meshes based on its material. In this case, for grease pencil, it should be black, and in fact now it's black. You see. So one thing I want to do is self-overlap, so you see it a little bit more clearly. Okay, and now I can draw. Oh, I made something wrong here. Oh yeah, the surface is not 0.09, since before was 0.15. Okay, let me delete this and let me draw it again. Okay. So basically, I just draw a reference of what is going to be my rail. Okay. And then I probably also isolate these three guys, and also I don't need this one. Maybe just draw a reference to say, okay, in this point is going to be like where the shoulder is. Okay, so as you see, it's kind of rough, but it's probably start to make a little bit of sense. Okay, so this is the main socket, and after that it's going to rail down here basically. So one thing you can do in the new grease pencil that it's in the system from 2.8, this new one, you can add like modifiers. So we can use mirror modifier and use the center as always. Okay, and you see now when I draw something, the same thing happens on the other side, which is super cool. So yes, let me draw. Let me delete those things, and and just start to have in this kind of design stuff more like robot looking, So make it bigger, so big. Okay. Oh, by the way, you can control the size of grease pencil also here, somewhere. Maybe stroke. Oh yeah, thickness scale. You can increase. You can make 5 or something, and now it's bigger. And you can also change the color if black is too invasive. Maybe a little bit like this. Okay. So and now just again, let's focus on one join. Okay, which is actually very complicated. This one. So. I mean, I don't know. You guys prefer to go along with like a joint problem solving, or a little bit much more into details? Since it's already 10, we have only 30 minutes. So please let
Yeah,
me
let's have a
know
show
what.
of hands, actually. That's a really good question. So, detailing or joints problem solving, type in what you guys and girls prefer to do. Since we have a little lag, I'll give it a few seconds, but be quick because we've got to take a decision.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe this thing actually should go also up here, on the other side, and connect to here, so you can actually move.
Okay, so I'm just going to read answers because I cannot possibly do maths and I don't have the functionality of a survey. That would be amazing. So, detailing problem solving, joins details, problem solving, detailing, joins detail. Oh my God, I
Okay.
don't think we have an answer.
Yeah, we don't have an answer.
I
Okay.
really,
So,
we really have no overwhelm here. I mean, I'm now just overwhelmed with.
okay. So, okay.
I
To
think
be
it's
honest,
everything.
I prefer to go ahead with these grease pencil things, because it's a way more fun to play with. First of all, and second, yeah, I think that taking a look on the other joints, it's requires a little bit of time, and can be kind of boring, so I tend to keep it for the
Yeah,
full course.
exactly,
Okay, so
exactly. I think it's
let's
just.
let's
I
yeah,
think Nathan said it best. Just carry on.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's the more, I mean, that's the point. The more you dig in, and the more stuff start to take time. Okay,
yeah,
so that
exactly.
that
But
that that's the
I would
thing of yesterday.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah. Go
would
ahead,
probably
please.
say that, as you said, you're absolutely right. As soon as we start getting deeper, there are now many options of problem solving, and
Yeah,
yeah, it just things really, really take time. So, I
yeah,
mean, everybody
yeah.
who is here is probably not absolutely new to the process, or yeah. So
Yeah.
let's
So
do fun stuff.
let's go ahead.
Yes.
So exactly. So grease pencil basically helps me to have a better idea of the direction I want to go in, because as soon you start to sculpt, or to add in details, like, I don't know, like flattening surface, and add like crazy small things here and there. Man, this thing, it's going to take forever. And when you want to fix it, so now you have this thing. Of course, you can have a morph brush, you can go back, but when you start digging with polygons and sculpt, everything takes a lot of time. And every time I start to play with polygons, I need to be not 100% sure, but at least I need to have an idea on what direction I'm going. So that's why I prefer to copy what concept artists doing. So they take like a very rough block out and basically draw on top of it, and having like 3, 5, 10 variations before actually committing to something. So here the idea is that you start to draw some lines that defines a little bit better the shells. For example, just drawing here a line, you already see that even the surface, even the surface is still rounded. Since I have a line here, you feel it that it's already more like sharp. You know what I mean? At least I do. I do feel that way. So so you can start add stuff. You can add like some sockets. You can really play and have fun and without you know you can add a little cylinder here. Maybe you have a line here intersecting, but instead having this line, you can have actually the shell that arrives here, and cover. So when we do the final mesh, you have like this smooth surface here, and even here. So you have like a socket that helps a little bit the geo to to fit. Maybe we can go a little bit down here. Okay. So there is a thing about grease pencil that you have to be careful, is that when you use the like the erase button here, it's going to erase the they say erase. How you
Erase.
pronounce
Yeah.
it? Erase. Yeah,
Erase.
right. Yeah. So yeah, when you erase the like the stroke, it doesn't know that this stroke is on a surface and it has to stop here. But basically, if you have something back down here, it's going to erase everything altogether. So be careful. That's for this very specific reason. I usually don't use the erase button, but I jump into edit mode, which shows you what's behind. Like in this case, those points are back here. So it's like it goes automatically in this X-ray mode. So I can select what I don't need. I can delete it. Okay. So I think it's the best way. So you don't get confused. Again, here I'm just testing shapes. So you can test as much as you want. About the joints, though, I want to add something. So as you can see, the arms and the legs are straight because the human body is basically straight. I saw people that send me private messages also on Discord and stuff like that came up with super cool creatures or humanoids or like mechanical robots, and tend to have like the arms or the legs already in this kind of shape, or the classical like wing shape, this kind of thing. This is the elbow, this is the shoulder, this kind of shape. This kind of stuff actually, for when you do mechanical things, is not gonna work very well. Otherwise, it's really hard to understand how the joint can work in this case. And also, if you take a look at the human body, the bones are pretty much straight. So when you get a position like this one that I just draw, is because actually the arms are like bended from the shoulder. They making this kind of movement. So that's why you start to get these. Now I don't have enough bones to deform the arms in the right way, but you probably get the idea. So try. I know it's boring. I know having a character in T pose or in A pose or whatever is kind of boring, but it's the way you should work. Otherwise, animator gonna, or even the rigger's gonna tell you that the model doesn't work. So keep the stuff straight, and after that, if you want, if you like, put it in pose. But yeah, when in the first phase, when you have to design, of course, if you work for collectibles and stuff, then it's going to be printed, so there is no problem. You can do uh, basically whatever you want. But since I mean, I have no experience with the collectibles, so if you want to work in games, in animations, in stuff like that, you have to take care about it, basically. So here I'm going a little bit in freestyle, but you see that I mean, even I didn't had any physical details in the geo. Um, Everything starts to be a little bit cooler. Now maybe I imagine to have this cylinder as the like hydraulic pump that actually inside the muscle here, this muscle here trigger the movement of the shoulder. So I have basically this socket here with this mechanism that is all together with this band, basically mechanical band. So also I don't like this one, it's too much banded. And if there is some question, please go ahead.
I'm gonna grab a few questions for you. Okay, I'm gonna start with yeah. Let's start here. So, which one do you prefer for meshes, T pose or A pose?
For character, I prefer like humanoid organic character. I prefer A pose with the arms at 45 degrees, and because 45 degrees helps me with the bake around the shoulder. That if the arms are too close, then you're gonna get a lot of ambient occlusion problem, uh, around the shoulder area. The armpit, yeah, that's the word. So
Mm-hmm.
with 45 it's much more like the arms are like more, so also the mesh won't crash, so normal maps and everything looks absolutely better. But some production prefer to have the arms closed at 30 degrees or something, or even 15. So in that case, it's I mean, I don't like that much, but you have to follow the pipeline rules, basically. And but for robots, I prefer to work with this pose that I don't know what kind of pose it is, but this pose actually helps me a lot when I'm thinking about joints and constraints, since I work with like on orthographics um, axis, and so I don't have to imagine working at 45 and keep constraints everything at 45. It's impossible, it's very hard. So I prefer to
Yeah,
put in pause later.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, that was another short question. I think we answered this yesterday, but like probably just quickly. Do you use a mouse or pen for sculpting and grease pencil?
No, I use the pen for everything, even for internet
Yeah.
browsing.
Yep, yep, yep. Very quickly. All right. Is there a tool or can grease pencil draw straight lines that would adhere to the mesh without having to free sketch?
That's a good. Yes, there is the line tool. Okay, there is also the curve, the arc tool, and the curve tool that I never use. Oh yeah, you see, you do crazy stuff. But the point of let me see the line tool, because I feel oh no, it's snapping. That's super cool. Yeah, then because few version ago the line tool won't. I mean, the snapping was only on the first and last um, point. So basically, on a curved surface like this one, the line was compenetrating. But thank you for asking. So because I just learned the thing. So yeah. So yes, there is the line tool that is down here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean yeah, I should have used that.
I think
Here I'm
there's
coloring just to give a little bit more of you feel that there is a hole, there is some negative space here. So it's very
Actually, I
rough,
actually
but
really like that
yeah.
you're coloring. I think it's just, yeah, really
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
gives it like a little bit of a feeling. But we've got a really cool question here. I like when you guys ask these questions because I think it's important to also have, discussions about this type of stuff. So, what do you do if you feel unemployable as a 3D artist?
Oh, yeah, I mean, what does it mean unemployed? Because there are multiple factors.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so
There are multiple factors. So,
there
yeah,
is
I mean, we
maybe
can
location.
elaborate.
If I was if I was in Italy at this moment, I was probably without a job, or I was working in architecture visualization or some very small indie company. So location, your physical location in the world is very important for this kind of job.
You really think
Like
so?
I
Even
would.
even now, when like a lot of jobs are online.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, the other factor is your experience. So if you have experience, of course you can apply and find job remote. But for juniors, most of the time, since you have to learn, you have to see the pipeline. Studios actually ask to have people in house. Okay, I mean it's not that it's going to be 100%, but in my experience, at least. Especially game studios where you have to get access to the engine, you have to get access to a bunch of stuff. They want people in house, and I know that it's not really cool to say, but that's the truth. That's the reason why, for example, 90% of my company's clients are from Japan, because at the end of the day, you physically hang out with people, know people. The chance to get in a studio get exponentially high when you are. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I remember that um, I was listening to a podcast of Vitaly Bulgarov, which is, I think, one of my best favorite
I love
artists
his
in the
art.
scene.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
right. And I mean, that guy was super skilled, and he made, I think, his first job for Blizzard from remote from Russia back in the days. So we're talking about I don't know, 15 years ago. Okay, so it's not impossible, but it's really highly related to your skills. So you need, if you are skilled, then I mean, you guys remember Mike Nash, right? I mean,
Hmm.
that poor guy. That poor guy basically had a really rough time to to find uh, to find job, even if it was super skilled, because basically his location, because it was down there in Australia, and he used to work a lot with European studios. So you know, yeah. I mean, it's hard, but what I'm saying is that it's really really related to your skills. So if you're skilled, and even better if you have some experience, then you're gonna find some job.
Yeah,
And
absolutely
also
agree.
it's a there is also a time factor, because if a lot of production just started, you know, and you apply for that company that the production just started, and they already have like the team in place, then it's hard to land to get a job. But if the production are like if they are in pre-production, for example, and they need people, that maybe it's the best moment to jump in. Maybe they need people. So it's there are a lot of factors, but I would say that skills are the most important. The most important.
Yeah, agree.
So
Yeah, it's a really really important reminder actually that before everything we still need to be working on these skills. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. So
One more question here. I think it's just related with location, since you're mentioning. Do you
yeah,
speak Japanese on the job, or do you use an interpreter and translation software?
I would love to have an interpreter. I'm not that
Really?
rich, guys. I'm not that rich. I mean, it's
But
Japanese. It's especially when you have to work in Japanese. There are a lot of rules you have to kind of follow to be respectful and all the things, So to be polite and blah blah blah. So yeah, but yeah, I do speak Japanese. I mean, my stuff it's most like we are 9 people. Yeah, uh, only me, only me and another guy are foreigners. All the other guys in the company are Japanese. So luckily, if I have some problem, I can ask them. I mean, if I have to write an email, I personally don't waste my time on writing. I just ask to a Japanese dude in the company, and he, he he will do it for me, of course. But yeah, so I have to work in Japanese if the company is a Japanese company, of course. Uh, yeah.
cool, cool, cool,
So yeah,
cool.
I'm going like 100% freestyle. I'm totally sure that I'm going to regret some of my design, but that's that's how the stuff are made, right? So that's actually the whole point. So you have freedom here. So just let's say, okay, this is a hole. Okay, Beep, 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 beep. And let me see.
Technical question here. Do you remove
Yeah, go
internal
ahead.
meshes for detailing parts of the model?
Sorry again.
Do you remove internal meshes for detailing parts of the model?
I do remove internal meshes for detailing parts of the model. I'm not sure. I really get what
Probably,
it means.
yeah. I mean, okay, let's ask for the clarification. I'm not gonna, second guess that. Okay. So,
Yeah, sorry.
Clara's
I mean, it's
question,
probably
please
language.
clarify. And a quick request, can you show us the mesh of your bot for a second?
Like the wireframe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like this at the moment. Like a lot of. It's
Yeah.
very
Oh,
very low
cool,
poly, as you
cool.
can
Thank you.
see.
Yeah.
Like it's this sphere
Yeah. And
basically
in
stretched
general, like
and
how much are
squashed.
you concerned about topology at this point?
I'm not concerned at all, but as I said yesterday, I really like to stay super low poly like this and have
Yeah.
a subdivision surface modifier because I don't want to get the risk of getting too much details. And also there is another reason that is actually very important. When we talk about mechanical things, okay, we're talking about something that is mechanically made, okay? So you have to have like some geometrical rules, like a cylinder, it's a cylinder. You must have like clean curves, okay, clean surfaces, like rounded. So you can't have like a blobby surface. Otherwise, it start to look not very mechanical at all. So working with this kind of topology, which is a sphere topology, okay, allows me to keep that level of smoothness even if I go crazy. I go crazy, but I still retain a kind of make sense curvature, a smooth curvature. That if I say, okay, this one is you know has a cut in the middle and it's a mechanical thing. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know if my explanation makes sense though, but
Makes
yeah.
sense.
Okay, so that's the reason. That's the reason why I like to work with. Let's see a bit. Okay, so yes, at this stage. After that, now I'm drawing the details. I start to see what's the direction I can flatten out some surface. Let's say that I want this plane very flat. I can even I like flat. Okay, so I don't forget it. So yeah. So another thing, I want to keep one grease pencil, or at least one grease pencil per object. So for example, I create another one, which in this case is faster, just to duplicate, delete what's inside, and call it in another way like arms, for example. And I start to draw, on here, and I can parent. So I still have the mirror modifier. I can parent the grease pencil to my object. So what happens here is that when I move, everything follows, and I'm super happy. So I can always check what's going on. So so regarding the mechanical thing, so for example, we should take account on how this robot is built. So maybe you see that you have one single piece here, but actually, if you have to build it in real life, you probably have like a line here in the middle. You can use the wireframe to follow it. We are basically composed, and tells you that this piece is composed by two shells, okay, that are joined together. So maybe inside here there is like again something like this one, hydraulic pump that basically helps the arm to bend. Okay, so again it's protected by a shell. So you have an inside part, which is this one, and the outside, which is this one. Okay, so of course this approach, let me explain a little bit of a theoretical thing. So what I'm doing now, it's I'm doing a concept or a prototype of a robot that I'm doing for myself, and I don't have to give to anybody else. Okay, so I'm the guy that I'm designing it and eventually making it till the in-game model. Okay, so I have already some ideas, the direction and the stuff, so I can use this approach. It's probably not the best approach if you are like a pure concept artist that has to give this design or this model to another guy that has to continue from that point. Of course, you give this to a 3D artist, is maybe able to keep it up from this point on, but this approach works better if you're just the one guy that is taking care of everything. Okay, so because in the end, the whole point is transferring what you have in your mind to the in-game product, right? So everything in the middle, it's just a process that you have to do, and it's better to do as fast as possible. So that's the idea basically.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, no, because it's yeah, it can be a little bit confusing, because sometimes it's like it sounds like you have to do something in order to uh, to work in production. Now, an example could be, for example, back in the days there was no XYZ, okay, the textures, guys. So every pore, every single thing must be sculpted by hand, like one or with alphas, this kind of stuff. But there was no shortcut. But in the end, what you need actually is that when you press the render button or when you bring the model into the game, you see the pores rendered in real time, right? So you don't actually need to sculpt those pores because you can just transfer the pores from the map from one UV layout to another UV layout, right? So with the XYZ, they basically removed this little passage, okay? You don't need actually to go through the sculpting process. If you want, you just can go. Of course, if you want to modify it, you have to bake the maps, sculpt it, and blah blah blah. But if you are in a super rush, you can get super result even without passing to ZBrush and sculpting them. So what I'm saying is that is the same idea of for robots and art surfaces. You don't have to actually model every single thing from the very start. You can, you can draw on top of it. You can have just an idea. You can, there are multiple ways to solve the same problem. And actually, I think digging into sculpting and adding a lot of details in polygons, it's one of the most wasteful way to do it. So, yeah. So I'm not sure that I explained this very well, but
Do you
I hope
guys
so.
I'm sure so. I mean, do you guys understand? Do you guys have any questions on that? Because we're all like, yeah, we're about at time. I mean, I hate being that
Yes.
person that is like
Oh, yeah.
uh
I didn't even notice it.
here with the nasty reminders, but yeah, just like please make sure you use the opportunity to ask questions. So yeah, if that makes sense, just let us know if that makes sense, because that's the whole point. Kind of want to make sure that
Yeah.
you guys understand. Okay, you were saying that, yes, that's been excellent. Oh, thank you very much. I really like seeing a different approach and the use of Blender. Right. Thank you very much. More comments and just let us know if that's clear. Yeah, looks like it's clear. I mean, I think so
Okay.
far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like a couple of more questions. Like I see people are typing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So with replacing the blockout, what part do you start with? Do you start with a new mesh?
Uh, Again, sorry.
Yeah,
When I start
with
with the blockout, I start with the new mesh.
yeah, exactly. With replacing the blockout, what part do you start with?
Oh, okay. No, well, if I can use something, I'm gonna use something. If I cannot, I just gonna build on top on Scratch. And now it's still. I mean, tomorrow we're going to dig more into that phase, so you're gonna see what I mean. But for example, this cylinder, if I'm not using this cylinder, I'm going to use like as a reference for the location and position, since I already have uh, all the information stored up here, for example. For this piece here, I probably like this one. Okay, I can, since it's inside, I can probably, now it's super low poly, I can maybe apply one level of subdivision, and keep working from here, and adding maybe, I don't know, a shell or something, So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, it really depends um, on the mesh. It's I'm not precluding anything as far as it looks what I have in mind. So also this part, I'm totally going to reuse this, for example. Uh, I'm probably reusing also this part here. Yeah, yeah, it's case by case. For the hands, I'm going to remake them 100% because now are just a very rough block out, and I don't think any of one of these pieces can be really helpful. But for other parts, maybe I can reuse them, especially minor parts like this one that just pops out a little bit. So I can subdivide and freeze the subdivision a little bit more and try to add some details on it. Yeah. So,
Cool, cool,
yep.
cool. There were another couple of questions, just the
Yeah.
small things. Do you ever use a space mouse, or just keep dragging around?
Oh no, I never used any alternative to pen tablet. Also because I mean in Blender you switch from polymodeling to sculpt to drawing in a very seamless way. So it's really annoying to switch device depending on the task, you know. So I
Yep,
prefer to stay in the mood, in the flow, and
yep, yep, yep.
doing stuff seamlessly.
Yeah, and probably the last thing, I think you partially answered. So I see that a few people are curious what's happening tomorrow. So Seth was asking here, and
Oh
also, yeah, but the
yeah.
same questions of Instagram. So yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I saw a lot of new people following me on Instagram, but I do not really use Instagram. So sorry, guys. I
Yeah,
mean,
I know.
last
I was
update
going to
it's
tell everyone,
months ago.
like we even
Yeah.
gave
Like
up tagging
yeah.
you at all, Max, altogether.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. I open it like once in 2 or 3 weeks or something. So, but yeah,
but yeah, I
tomorrow
mean, you can still
what is
follow.
going to happen is try to bring alive some of these details. Okay, so actually get out a little bit from this sphere crashing each other and actually having some part that looks like a kind of final. Okay, and of course it's only 1 hour, so it's going to be very limited to a specific area, because again the more you dig in, the more you get into the details, the more it's going to take time to finish stuff. But yeah, it's something that we're probably going to go deeper during the full course 100%. So but yeah, tomorrow is going to be like detailing and the cool stuff. Works also with the kind of not decals but uh, like placeholder of details and tricks like that that really helps to figure out earlier how the model is gonna look like in the final version. So yes.
Perfect.
And
So shall we then call it a day for today?
yes, 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 yes.
Absolutely. Alrighty, guys. I'm just, like before we wrap up completely, I'm gonna, like just show the faces. But I've got another little reminder that I think we mentioned at some point that um, like you probably saw it over email or somewhere that there's going to be a little raffle. So I'm just going to highlight there are not a lot of rules. It's pretty much you have to be online, and also make sure you post at least one update or like one whip, anything really. Doesn't matter what stage. You don't obviously have to be absolutely in line with Max's speed. I mean, we're realistic about expectations, but of course, it would be amazing to see like progress if you posted something yesterday. But post at least something. We'll add your name to the bucket, and I'll drag something from the bucket tomorrow. Yeah, so we're going to be raffling free access to our 3D printing program, and hopefully you guys can use it when you finish your character, and get ready for testing some of your 3D printing skills, and just playing with it. So this can come handy. so that you know how to 3D print any character. So yeah, that is a little announcement for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're meeting same time, same place. So Discord link stays absolutely the same. There is there is a room for everybody's updates. Like absolutely excited to see what you guys and girls are working on. So yeah, like there, I see there are a few more things popping up. And Max, sorry, do you mind like just a couple of more short questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So, could you share the link to that tool you mentioned earlier? Ah, sorry, that's to me. For the screen controls. Uh, I'll
Yeah,
get that
yeah.
for tomorrow because I really need to dig deeper in my notes, because I don't remember the name. I have it somewhere downloaded. Um,
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah, no problem.
yeah. So that's it. And yeah, I think that's it. We almost covered everything.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Yeah, if
Perfect.
you have, I mean, I try to be active on Discord too. So,
Don't
yeah, if I'm
overload
not,
Max too much. Just post it
yeah,
in
but
the
no problem because
channel.
I know
Like in this.
maybe I skip something, you know. So, like for example, I just remind that it's always a good practice to work at the center of the world on the and place the robot, not only the robot in general stuff in you know on the ground, stuff like that. That it's really like production oriented tips, or maybe also adjusting the camera fob, okay, in the viewport to have something that looks good, because by default it's 35, but I think it's too wide. So I usually work around the 50 or even 80, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, this kind of stuff. But yeah, if you have any question that is not please explain everything again from scratch, then I'm open
Well, I
to.
mean, like thanks God there is a replay. Keep saying, like that's just, the replays are going to be available for a few days, so we're not going to close the videos right away. Righty. Okay, Max, thanks so
Okay,
much. I
thank
think
you.
it was a really cool session. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Come back tomorrow. Will be amazing to have the same crowd as active as today and yesterday. It was like an absolute pleasure to have you all. So yeah, head over to Discord, post something, and we'll see you all tomorrow because tomorrow is the last day of the bootcamp. Beep, 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 boom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm just gonna close the room, and thank you guys so much again. See you tomorrow.